Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. This block is called Flower Power. It finishes at 12 inches. This block is also part of the Stitch Pink 2020 quilt from Moda Fabrics, and I'll have a link to that pattern. I switched it up a little bit to make it easier to piece. But here is the diagram. We have mostly half square triangles here in the flower and in the leaf portion. And there are also half square triangles in the background with the leaves. And these are sort of a half square triangle to make the stem. I'll show you how we did that. Here are 4 blocks set block to block. And this is a 2x2 grid. So we have a total of 4 units in the grid. This flower unit, we'll call this the leaf units, and then the stem unit. We have 5 patches. Patch A is a 2" by 6" finished rectangle. We cut 6.5" by 2.5" rectangles, and we'll need 2 patches for the background. And this goes in the leaf unit. Patch B is a 2" finished half square triangle. We cut 2 7/8" squares. Cut them in half once on the diagonal for 2 patches. We'll need 13 patches for the background, 4 patches for the green fabric, and 9 patches for the red fabric. Patch C is a 6" finished square. We cut 6.5" square. We need 1 patch, and this is for the stem portion here. We're going to cut that in half and then stitch the little stem between the 2 pieces. And patch D, I need to make a correction on your copy. It will be a 1/2" by 11" finished rectangle. We cut 11.5" by 1" rectangle. And this is for the stem. We need 1 patch. Patch E is a 4" finished half square triangle. We cut 4 7/8" squares, cut them in half once on the diagonal for 2 patches. We'll need 2 patches for the background and 2 patches for the leaf fabric. And that is this unit here. We have 2 of them. The cutting instructions include for all of the half square triangles, if you want to cut them the exact size or cut them larger and trim them down later. In our demo, we're going to cut them larger and trim down. So here are all of the cutting instructions. These are all the fabrics. The background fabric, and then the green fabric and the red fabrics. I chose to do a variety of red fabrics. I have 5 different fabrics, and most of them are squares. These were already cut. And we're going to use the 2 at a time method to make the half square triangles for both the flowers and the leaves, and for the leaf unit as well. So now let's do all of our half square triangles 2 at a time. We're going to do 2 sets for the leaves, 5 sets for the flower, and 1 set for the leaf unit. If you're not familiar with the 2 at a time method, stay tuned for a short tutorial that shows you how. On the back side of the light fabric, we're going to draw a diagonal line, put the fabrics together, right sides together, and we're going to stitch on either side of the diagonal line. Here is the diagonal line drawn, and then the stitching on both sides. Now we cut this in half along the diagonal line. Then we have our 2 half square triangles. Press the seams open and cut off the nubs. All of our half square triangles are finished, and we'll take 9 of the flower half square triangles and put them in a 3x3 grid. Lay them out how you like the look. In step 3, we're going to assemble the leaf units, and we'll just follow the diagram and piece these 2 units. We'll take the green, all of the green half square triangles, the large and the small, and then the A patches, and piece these. Here is one pieced like this, and that goes at the top. And here's the second one, and this goes at the top as well. So piece the half square triangles together, the small ones, then piece these to the large half square triangle and then piece this A unit to the top. And our leaf units are finished. We'll put those to the side. And the last one we have to do is our stem unit. This is the 6.5 inch square. We're going to cut it in half on the diagonal. Then we're going to piece this stem right between the two. So I would just center it on here and piece 1/4 inch and press the seam open. Here's the first half, and then we're going to stitch this like this. Just flip this over. I line up this edge, and then I try to center this so the fabric here is about the same size as the fabric here. We're going to trim this down later. Now stitch 1/4 inch and press the seam open. This is finished, and I have never made one of these units before like this. So this is very close. There's hardly anything to trim off. But I'm going to recommend, and I'll change the instructions, to cut this at 7 inches. That way you'll be able to trim it down easier. Now we just trim this. I tried to center this diagonal line along the middle of the stem. And so there is our stem unit. It should be trimmed now to 6.5 inches. The last thing we need to do is to put the units together. Sew these two together and these two, press the seams, and then sew the rows together. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos.